Let me just fire it up now. You're right. I'm going to also check visually the levels on what is it, Derby, in it we use. So I'll go on to the Derby SDR as well. I'm recording this now. I've just sent you that little 10-second video actually. I'm sending you I'm now recording, and what I'll do is, as people join, not only will I record them on the IC 7300, but I'll also record them on the Derby SDR. You know it makes sense, you've seen it all before.
Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, no, that'd be interesting to do. Yeah, I'd say the mic gain's down very, very low now, because obviously this is providing quite a little bit more drive than the Shaw would. But I just thought I'd give it a go and see what it did, and it's certainly driving the rig all right. And I'm running with a foot switch. I made up an adapter cable, so I haven't got the big heavyweights back in the shack yet. Because I haven't had any help today. I'm getting some help tomorrow to do that. So the heavyweights aren't back in the shack. So I'm running the 202, 204 separates, because the 204 transmitter will do carrier reinserted AM. Back to you.
All right, well that sounds right. What radio are you actually using at the moment?
The transmitter is a KW204, and I'm receiving you on the on its partner, the 202.
Oh, okay, yeah. As I say, I'm not set up for vintage at the moment. It's all over me garage. Yeah, I need to sort myself out this year. I've got so many rigs that need my attention, including the AR88s. The Code R85s are both getting a bit sad now. One of them, I think what's happening is, as I'm tuning plate and load, the capacitors are shorting themselves out, because the SWR, as I'm tuning, immediately goes from something respectable like 3 to 1 or 2.9 to 1, and then it sort of launches itself to 9 to 1 or in infinity. So I've got a feeling that we got capacitor plates probably touching or something like that. But you know, for something that's like as old as I am, I'm surprised that it works at all sometimes, and it is the one that I played about with. You know, I completely rewired, and the other AT5 that I've got, that one was the one I bought recently at the club. It was in the wooden box with the T28 etc, and the T28 started working, and then it's gone silent. So no great expectations with that one anyway, even when it was working. But I need to get it all going, all up and running, and then I can attack these nets with gusto again. G0 UKN M0 JCF.
Yeah, M0 JCF, G0 UKN. I just had a WhatsApp from Nathan, who I did a test with earlier. He's got his 2000A set up now and is on the frequency, but he's got a lot of noise on this frequency, so I've asked him to let us know how far we should move up. Ideally, sort of, you know, not too far, because other people won't find us.
Right, I've just had a listen. I tell you what, there's something going on. This is why my power's so low. I've got zero noise. So it could be the antenna switch, it could be the it could be anything. But that's why my radio's cranked its own power right down to the floor. I've just realised, right, let's have a look. Yeah, I've just realised that the radio is obviously seeing a problem, and that's why it's kept its power really, really low. So yeah, I've got zero noise, and not you're 5 and 9 plus, but obviously there's a fault either in the transmission line, the antenna switch, or the or something like that, because I've got zero noise, and really I would have about S8, S7, S8, S9 of noise on top band. Back to you.
Yeah, that's a bit weird, isn't it? So Nathan's just asked if we can go up a couple of kilohertz, and to be fair, I can hear the station on that's on about 1904 too. So while you're doing that, I'm just going to move up a little bit to around 1907. I've just got to plug my headphones back in so I can listen to myself on the I'm saying I haven't got to move far, have I? I've got to go. I hate that. What's that? Is that around 1907? Is that around 1907? Mark, go.
No, you're still 30 kilohertz out, so you're on 1907. Well, I'm showing, I stopped spinning the dial as you passed it back to me. So I'm on 1907 decimal 22. So, you know, decimal 25, thereabouts. You're still a little bit above the frequency as you was on the last frequency.
Yeah, well, what's a couple of hundred hertz amongst friends? Okay, yeah, how's that for you, Nathan? Have you followed us up here from Golf Zero Uniform Kilo November?
Yeah, Mike 7 November Alpha Juliet. Good evening all. Still got it. It's still, we could do it a fraction higher, but I don't know what it is. It came up about 20 minutes ago. I'm not sure if it's someone I'm not quite hearing lower down the band, or if it's some local noise. Back to you, Golf Zero United Kilo November, Mike 7 November Alpha Juliet.
Yeah, nice one. Well, you're a good signal here. You're probably stronger than you were earlier. As I was saying, I don't know if you were listening. I was saying to Mark, I've put the studio microphone and the Orban Optimod 204 for shits and giggles, as they say.
Yeah, 7NAJ returning. Well, there's nothing like playing with a bit of fun. You sound fantastic, actually, and you're also probably a little bit stronger to me than you were earlier. And good evening to you as well, Mark. You're coming through nice and strong to me as well. I think you're using something modern tonight, Mark. We seem to have changed places. I've got old school, and you're playing with a modern 7300, I believe. I'll pass it back to you, guys, because I'm not sure if there's an order yet or if it's officially been started. So I'll pass it back to you. T0 UKNM 7NAJ.
WMR.
Yeah, G3WMR come up, guy.
Yeah, sorry, I was just writing a WhatsApp to the CRAY Valley group. So yeah, I got G3WMR. Let's see who else is on. So at the moment, I've got UKN, JCF, NAJ, WMR. Anybody else?
Yeah, Golf 4 Foxtrot Alpha Alpha.
Golf 4 Fox Alpha, and there was somebody else as well. Mike 0, Mike Delta Romeo for a guest appearance. Evening, Martin.
You're fine tonight?
Jolly good. I'm glad to hear it. Anybody else? Yeah, nobody else heard at the moment. I think we've reached the witching hour when we start. Oh, we're a little bit past it. Okay, well, good evening, everybody. This is the CRAY Valley monthly top band net. Running a little bit different equipment today. I'm running a KW204 transmitter and a 202 receiver. But also, audio-wise, the 204 transmitter is running via a mixing desk, a studio microphone, and an Orban 9100B Optimod. So we're just doing a little bit of funny audio work here. I picked the 204 because I haven't used it for a while, and also it does. I can carrier insert on AM, so we can try AM a bit later. But none of the signals are huge, so we'll see if we get that far. But nice to hear you all. Let's give one more call out. Anybody else, and then I'll do what the order is. Anybody else want to join the CRAY Valley first Monday of the month top band net? Bearing in mind I had to put the shack together, that's a poor show, isn't it? Anyway, the order is JCF, NAJ, WMR, FAA, and then MDR. So we'll possibly change that around if Laurie is not hearing Martin. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. If Laurie and Martin can't hear anything, we'll put maybe Martin between myself and JCF, something like that. But round to you, Mark. I wonder if you've sorted your little issue you had there. M0JCF, G0UKN in the group.
G0 UKN M0 JCF. No, I haven't. I played about with the antenna switch. I played about with the connectors. I'm in the loft, so I'm not going to muck about with it. It's receiving everyone so far. I might have trouble with anything further than Martin M0 MDR. I don't know how accurate the reports are. Now the rig has automatically throttled back the power to around 20 watts, I suppose, thereabouts. I'm using the IC7300 and the random long wire. Guy, you was nice and loud on Derby, very loud in fact. I seem to be about S7 on Derby. Let's just move the camera over. I'm just trying to capture myself. And I could see the big signal that you and Nathan could hear. I can see it on Derby, but I obviously couldn't hear it because my radio is obviously receiving as low as it's transmitting. Thanks for the KW weekend, by the way. I did turn up Saturday. I did spend the best part of an hour there. I didn't get to do any operating this time using you know, the kit there. I was busy talking to people and running me gob off as I do. But it was nice to see all of that gear there. I saw your HRO there as well, all in its openness and glory. But I never heard it running. The only radios I really heard running was the one that you was operating, Guy, and maybe one or two others. But no, I didn't do the full sweep. I wasn't there for any presentations, book signing, etc. I really didn't have the time on Saturday. Otherwise, yeah, I would have stayed a bit longer. And then it was good to work you yesterday, Guy, on 10 metres. I was just wondering if you actually managed to speak to the KW call sign over in Michigan, USA. Just before I'd come on to you, I did work somebody on 10 metres in Vermont. So it's only probably another half a hop, isn't it? Half a hop length from Vermont to Michigan. So I was just wondering if you finally made contact before you shut down. Apart from that, it's all been 10 and 12 metre CQing for me, and it's been mainly USA, Canada, some South America, etc. And then in the mornings, it's all coming in from the east. So conditions have been picking up the last few days. It's been quite dire over the weekend, over the Christmas period. Do you know what? I don't think I've had any winter sporadic E yet. Very, very unusual. There have been some good 2 metre openings though, Troppo and ducting, and mainly into like the near continent. So it will be France, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, that sort of thing. All the usual suspects for me, not using the beam this time. I've rambled on enough. I'll hand it round to Nathan now if he can hear me. Nathan, you was 5 and 5 to me. Frank, Martin and Laurie, I'll give you all a report afterwards, and I will give reports on Derby as well. But round to you, Nathan. M7 NAJ, M0 JCF.
Yeah, M0 JCF, M7 NAJ, returning to the CRAY Valley top man net. Running my 2008 tonight. I've blown the cobwebs off of it, and it appears to be working, which is nice. Nice and warm, it's keeping the shack warm. It appears to be doing the job. Yeah, I didn't make it up to the KW station on Saturday, but I was there Sunday, having been busy on Saturday doing the AFS CW contest. Managed to make it up on Sunday. I think I operated the 20 metre station for a little while, the 40 metre station for a little while, and then yeah, jumped onto 10 metres. I'll let Guy tell you all about what we achieved on 10, but it was actually Dave IPY that was operating at the time, but I'll let Guy tell you about that on his next over, because it was a pretty good day. Signal reports wise, well, it's hard to tell because my meter is lazy, shall we say. It's optimistic. The only people actually moving my meter, well, the only person moving my meter is Guy. But you're perfectly audible, Mark. I reckon on my 5000 MP that I normally use, you'd probably be about a 5x5. I have still got that noise here, but it does appear to be slowly moving up the band, if anything. It appears to almost be following us up the band. So God only knows what that is. But yeah, that's the setup here, KW2000A, with an static D104 mic into 74 foot of random wire. I'll pass it, I think it's WMR next, so I shall pass it round. G3WMR from M7NAJ with the CRAY Valley top band net.
Roger, from Golf 3 Whiskey Mike Radio. Thank you, Nathan. Very good signal, I'm just going to reach over and mute the SDR, which is confusing my brain slightly, if I can find the mute button. That's it. Beautifully muted, right? That's a lot quieter. Right, yeah, I was listening on Hack Green at one point, and it's nothing like as good as Derby. Hack Green, I could only just about hear anyone. But Derby's a lot better. Guy, very, very presentable signal on Derby. Mark, if you're using the usual FT817 barefoot, then you're doing damn well as well, because as you say, you're hitting about the 7. And Nathan was hitting the 7s also just now. I appear to be hitting a bit further than that, 90, anyway, I can't really read it, and I'm watching my signal, and it's fairly reasonable up there. Right, yes, well, as some of you know, I was there on Saturday, but missed the book signing and the cake cutting, as Dave YIB and I went off for a cafe lunch and then went home from the cafe. But yesterday, Guy, I was listening in the morning. You mentioned the HRO, and I know you were using the HRO combo on Sunday morning, but I was listening on the VMARS net, and you just disappeared at one point. I don't know if you had I'm not sure whether you had a technical problem or whether the propagation just lost you, but I was a bit disappointed that didn't hear a bit more of you on the VMARS thing. Did initially, but it all started going upside down at one point, so maybe you know something that I don't know, perhaps there was an equipment failure. Lorry, good signal, following me. And M0MDR, unfortunately, I couldn't hear very well either direct or on the SDR, but I will make an attempt to get you out of the noise there, Martin. So G3WMR is passing it round to G4FAA, over.
Yeah, Roger, from Golf 4, Foxtrot Alpha Alpha. Yeah, good evening all. Well, initially, the noise level was appalling in this shack, but the last quarter of an hour or so, it has gone down. So, signal reports, Guy, especially when you went up a couple of kcs, you came up to 5 and 9. About 5 and 5, I'm struggling with you a bit. Nathan was 5 and can't read me writing, 5 and 7, and you're 5, 8, 5, 9, Frank. The master, I'm using the modern rig, the 706, and but I've got the 2000B lined up on top band. So on the next over, I'll have a go with the 2000B. But of course, it doesn't have AM. So when it comes to AM time, I've got to fall back on the trusty old 85. Thing is, having 3 and now 4 radios in the shack down here, which is freezing incidentally. I need to be related to an octopus, so I might be a bit disjointed later on. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'll pass it round to Martin. M0DMR to take, if you can copy me, over.
Over to you, Martin, if you're not hearing Laurie.
Yeah, right. Sorry, thanks so much. No, I couldn't hear anyone actually. Right, actually, sure, if I can't hear anyone, I guess that would be similar to the others, because I can't hear me from down here to this. Yeah, as I said, Guy, you 5 lines last minute or something, but otherwise, I can't hear anyone. Mike, back to you, Guy. Busy or you can,
Yeah, did you say you can't hear anybody except for me?
I can hear Mark very faintly, so I heard something like the sound was more than so yeah, I can't hear anyone. That's up to you, but I mean, with my opinion, that's probably
Yeah, M0MDR, G0UKN. Well, that is very disappointing for you, so I won't be offended if you want to disappear, because that's no fun at all, listening to noise for an hour. So yeah, feel free to move off, or alternatively, you could bring up the Derby. You could bring up the Derby SDR on your laptop or on your phone or something, and see if that makes any difference, and then you can see if you can hear us on that. But no, totally disappointing. But just some reports before I do a proper over. JCF 5 and 9, NAJ 5 and 7, WMR 5 and 7, FAA 5 and 5, MDR 5 and 6, 5 and 7. So those are the reports. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed myself on the KW weekend. It's a bit self-indulgent, I suppose, but I think a lot of people get a lot out of it. The book signing and the talk by Richard Shears was really, really good. In retrospect, I think I should have set up the microphone for Richard, because he's very softly spoken. If I've got one regret about that, it's that I didn't set him up with a PA system. So that's worth remembering in case we ever have him join us at the club for anything. It definitely needs the PA. I'm sure you struggled a bit, Laurie, with that. I know my wife did, who also has hearing difficulties, but she's a big fan of Richard anyway, so she won't have a word said against him. As far as the cake was concerned, was really pleased with everybody's reaction to the cake, and a bit of bubbly, and or glass orange juice or whatever. And yeah, Mark, regarding 10 metres on Sunday afternoon, we worked the guy in Michigan, the KW man in Michigan. We worked him, but we also then worked the guy in Arizona, and got 5 and 9 from Arizona. And then Dave the Bass took over 10, worked a couple of locals, and then worked a VE3 in Ottawa, and was absolutely pleased as punch to have worked that. So we worked on Sunday morning. We worked ZL, and okay. So the reason why I disappeared from the top the 80-meter VMARS net, Frank, was I got a text message from Phil Holiday, ZL3, PAH, who you possibly know, Phil, because he used to be around here years ago. You may well know Phil, he worked for KW. I got a text from him going, I'm hearing G on 20 metres. Find the frequency and let me know the frequency. So I went up, found 14303, dropped him a text back, called him, and he came straight back to me. That was then followed by a couple of VKs, a JA, and then VK to AMF, Mike Fleetwood, who's another expat, and another KW buff who was running a KW 2000B into a non-KW linear. So the reason why I disappeared from the VMARS net was I had a bloke in New Zealand going, I'm here in G, come and talk to me, and they got outvoted, I'm afraid, so I went, and that's the story there, and it was definitely worth doing. I very, very rarely work VK from here, and I've certainly never worked ZL from home. I've worked ZL with a quarter wave on 20 metres from a cliff top right overlooking the sea. Only time I've ever worked ZL. So yeah, that's the reason why I disappeared, Frank. Okay, well, I'm going to put it open there to see if anybody else wants to join the net, and I am going to put Mark MDR between myself and JCF if he wants to stay. So after this, after I've called other people in, I'm going to be calling MDR back in so he can point it at JCF, who I think is hearing him. Right, anybody else want to join the CRAY Valley first Monday of the month, top band net, G0 UKM, bye? Well, this is a bit of a poor show for January. Okay, Martin, MDR, taken over, and I'll be handing it to you first from now on, and then you can pass it to M0 JCF, and we'll go round again, and we'll do it that way round, so at least you can hear the person that's handing it to you, and I'm hoping that the person you're handing it to can also hear you. That's my logic anyway. So the revised order is UKN, MDR, JCF, NAJ, WMR, FAA, and then back round to UKN. So we'll put that there. Right, round to you, Martin. M0, MDR, G0, UKN in the group.
Yeah, as I said, you find the line, then I would say, well, probably very same, so 3 and 4 or something like that. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, just today goes quick remarks because I'm rather than others can't give it. Your audio is completely different about setup than what I'm used to. So when I switched to the radio, I heard a voice. And I know it's not someone else from that technical thing. I think that's it.
Yeah, M0, MDR, M0, JCF. Martin, I can hear you, Martin. 5 and 8, 5 and 8, maybe 4 and 8, 4 and 8. Okay, I've worked out why my receive was so low. I'd got my attenuator switched in the 7300. I was using it earlier on 10 meters, and I must have used the RF preamp. It's a double button system, so a long push will give you attenuator, a short push gives you RF preamp. And that's probably what's happened. It was interesting that earlier I was on 40 meters having a rag chew with Hugh down in Cork, down in Southern Ireland, and yeah, I was having a good old 5 and 9 plus both ways, and I must have been doing it with the attenuator plugged in on 40 meters. My low transmit will just be due to high SWR. I think the Unun, which has been up 8 years now, I think that probably has to come down. Maybe it's had water ingress, something like that. It's okay. It seems to be okay on 40, 80, 60, those sort of bands. But 160 might just be pushing me luck. So the radio has throttled itself back to about 20 watts or so, which is, probably fine. And Frank, that's why you can hear me so well. I'm using 20 watts from the IC 7300. I'm not using the FT817 today. So anyway, that's the story. So everyone's now back up to, apart from Martin, who is 5 and 8, everyone else is up to 5 and 9 plus, or will be 5 and 9 plus. I can hear everyone, including Laurie, etc., on Derby SDR, and I think that Guy, you're the only one who is making the Derby SDR meter go to 5.9 plus. So I think Frank gets close to it, but everyone else is around the 5.7 mark. I can see I'm around 7, Santiago 7 on the Derby SDR. There is a big signals above us as well as below us as well. So we are actually sandwiched, it looks like, in between two QSOs, probably both networks as well. And there's one quite high up as well, around 1955, so I might investigate that later. Just to let everyone know as well, I've got to be off by about 9 p.m. this evening. I have actually got a shutdown around 9 p.m, so hopefully I'll get some AM in as well. But because it is only the IC 7300, I won't be too fussed about that. Right, I think I'm had long enough over there, and if people want revised reports they can, but you're going to be 5 and 9, bearing in mind I've got about an S7 to 8 noise floor now. I've got the attenuator switched out. M7 NAJ M0 JCF in the CRAY Valley top band net.
Yeah, M0 JCF M7 NAJ returning to the CRAY Valley top band net. I was sitting here during your over there, Mark, and the light's gone out on my VFO on the 2008. It's all still working, it's just the bulb's got off. Good old KWs. And whilst that last set of overs was going on, I've grabbed the 817 out. Well, it's not charged up, but I've plugged it into a power supply. And I've dropped my phone now as well. I've plugged it into a power supply, and I'll try and jump on the AM net, but obviously I'll be very low power, so I doubt anyone will be able to hear me, but I'll give it a go on the 817 and see how it goes. And then after that's finished, I'll have to tinker with the 2000 and see if I can get the bulb working again. Oh, well, there we are. Yeah, I can hear everybody apart from Martin, unfortunately. I can't hear him at all. But yeah, everybody else is very readable here. All a solid 5.9. I will hand it on to Frank. Golf 3, Whiskey Mike Romeo from Mike 7 November Alpha Juliet with a CRAY Valley top band net.
M7 NHA from G3WMR at the CRAY Valley net. Returning. Yeah, well, I'm getting you much better direct, Nathan, than on Derby. You're possibly the weakest on Derby, unfortunately. But I was amazed at how good Martin was on Derby. I was copying Martin fine on Derby, even though he's not really noticeable on the trace or anything, or on the S meter. But very readable in the distance on Derby, Martin. So it was a good idea sandwiching you between two people who can hear you. That helps a lot. Laurie is about the best I've ever heard coming through on Derby. Normally Laurie doesn't seem to get through Derby that well, but tonight, very nice. But Guy, as Mark says, Guy's a crashing signal on Derby, and also was a reasonable signal on Hack Green when I was first on there, but I cursed wide to Derby. I don't really like Hack Green, quite honestly. I do use it. Somebody calling on 2 meters. That's a rarity, someone calling on the calling channel on 2 meters. Crumbs. Anyway, that was explanations round. Guy explaining why he disappeared off the VMARS net yesterday. and well done working the DX. That's the way to do it. I worked Australia and New Zealand way back, I think in 1968 probably. I don't think it was 67 when I first got my licence. I think it was in my second winter of 10 metres, CW of course, with 3 watts using an EF91 at the time. I later upgraded it to an EL91, which gave me about 5 watts with it glowing cherry red, as opposed to 3 watts with the EF91 glowing cherry red, but with a EF91 on CW. I worked Australia and New Zealand way back in the days when I had to keep a logbook. There was no choice, but I've still got the logbook there sometimes. And I've got QSL cards as well from Australia and New Zealand, so I'm pleased about that. That was Guy's explanation, and then Mark's explanation was why he's stronger, because he's not on the FT817, fair enough. A bit stronger anyway, but the FT817 always did a good job for itself on top band there. Mark, nice to see you on Saturday as well, Mark, and I didn't notice you going around videoing the lineup, but you did say at one point that you had, and perhaps you can tell me where I can find it over the air, because on YouTube, of course. Tell me over the air where I can find it, because at the moment I haven't got access to the CRAY Valley reflector, because the computer I'm using at the moment on internet searching won't the CRAY Valley reflector will no longer talk to my XP operating system, unfortunately. But I have got a Linux computer, which is underneath the XP computer. I've got a Linux computer, so when I next do my emails, which I can also do on Linux, I can't do on XP anymore. I'll have a look and see if I can find your YouTube video, Mark. I can get YouTube on XP. I just can't get email or the CRAY Valley reflector. I can get most things. In fact, at the moment, I'm using an XP computer to get the Derby SDR and the Hat Green SDR and the Conway SDR and all the others I use. They don't mind XP. It's just emails and a few other things that's starting to get smart and say my operating system's too old. Perfectly good for me, but not for them. Anyway, quit moaning. I think I pass it to Laurie now, don't I? Yeah, G4FAA and the net G3WMR.
Report my signal fine.
Mark 5.
Yeah, about the same as before, Laurie.
Yeah, I said you are 5, Laurie. I put the microphone miles away. Roger.
Okay, well, I'm using the 2003. I recall years ago that on top band it had a high and low switch. So I'm not actually sure what power I'm sending out, but it seems to be modulating okay. Right, let's have a look at the remote. Stand by. Yep. Not all to you, Guy. Yeah, KW weekend was an absolutely resounding success, and that must have been the best yet, I think, of the 9 or 10, perhaps 11 that we've done so far. I did notice that, and there's been a moan about it on the reflector, that contests are beginning to creep in, but it doesn't really give us that any problems. But there we go. I obviously couldn't read NDR on the rig, but I'm monitoring Derby, and he was bombing in there. I'm trying to see if I'm making Derby, but I don't think I am. But there we go. Anyway, the 2003 works. I'll got a 204 kW transmitter, and a couple of kW 202 receivers, local and stuff. But I suppose I'll get around to fixing them one day. But what is noticeably evident from the 2000B, of course, is the ability to reinsert carrier and make AM possible. So when it comes to the AM bit again, I'm back to 8 watts from the 85, which is been on for a couple of hours and is warming the shack nicely. Right, well, I'm not too sure who I passed it on. It was going to be FCR, but so I'd better go back to you, Guy. G0 UKN to take, Golf 4, Foxtrot Alpha Alpha, and the monthly CRAY Valley top band there, over.
Yeah, fine business, Laurie. So my reaction is that that 2000B sounds a lot nicer than the IC706. It's better audio, in my humble opinion. It's crisper. It's certainly punchier. So not, signal strength probably roughly similar, but sounds very, very nice indeed. So looks like you got a good one there, and I would expect nothing less from Mr. Ridley. So nice one on that one. What else was I going to say? There was something profound I was going to say. Yeah. So the bulb behind the VFO, they're LES bulbs. Lilliput Edison screw bulbs, and they tend to work loose, Nathan. So if you open up the lid, you can see where they are. If you can get your fat fingers in there, try and do them up. And it'd be very unlikely the bulb had gone. It's probably just worked loose. So that's the plan on that one. I've been pleased with how this 202, 204 has worked this evening. I've never actually used it on top band before, literally never used it on top band. I was sort of like, I wonder if this will give out any power, and it did. I can see it's just, a gnat's over 30 watts, so it's working well. With regard to, you'll remember that I had some problems with the 8160 antenna, and what had happened to that was that where the coax comes out of the antenna, which is literally by the shack door, it had been nibbled through. So I just cut it back, and I had a bit of extra length on it, re-terminated the connector, put it back in, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. I've got 80 and 160 again, but it was really annoying that it must have done it between the December top band there and Christmas Day, because it was working fine on the top band there. And then I had nothing on Christmas Day, so yeah, that's a little bit vexing, but at least it was an easy fix, and I didn't have to run new coax around the back of Jan's greenhouse, which would have been a bit annoying. Okay, anything else to add on that? I'm not sure how much AM will do. Because nobody's a huge signal, and I don't want to be excluding people. So we'll go once more round on sideband, and then if people want to go AM, I will do once round on AM. I will be running the 204 on AM, and I had a listen to it earlier, so I know roughly where to set the carrier, I think, for it to sound okay. But I don't guarantee it's going to be any good, not compared to what I normally run. But it'll be interesting to hear the comments. But round to Martin. M0 MDR in the CRAY Valley Net Golf. I nearly went into the Golf Bravo then. Golf 0 United Kilo November.
Yeah, I was just messing about with the noise filters, etc. And I thought he handed it to me, but I wasn't sure because Martin was actually a lot weaker that time than he was before. Also, I've been chasing people around the band. You've drifted upwards very, very slightly, Guy, and Laurie was even further above you. He was on 907.50. I'm currently on decimal. Right now, I'm on 907 now. I'm not sure if we're meant to be on 907, 907.5. Anyway, I'm on 907 now, so I may well have drifted downwards for absolutely everyone. Right, that ramble over with. I'll just say that yeah, I'll join in for AM probably for once round. It's that time of year, isn't it? Everyone's sort of recovering, back to work today, that sort of thing. Well, some of you are back to work today. Right, Frank, you wanted to know where you can see the quick walk around. It's M0JCF Ham Radio on YouTube, okay? M0JCF Ham Radio on YouTube. Basically it's just loads of videos of me rabbiting on the way that I do. Maybe you might find the odd technical video, but you'll have to do a lot of digging to find them because mainly it's me. But it'll be from the top of the videos, it'll be about a few videos back. I mean, it's only a day. I did upload a couple of videos tonight, I believe, can't remember, but I uploaded at least one tonight, so it's going to be like one of the last few videos that you'll see the quick walk around. No explanation or anything, I just walked around and videoed the lineup. What was I going to say? ZL, you was mentioning you work ZL at the weekend, which is really, really good. I've never worked ZL. The only claim to fame I've got of ZL is I've been there. I've been to both islands, top to bottom, left to right. I've ridden motorbikes around it. I've done whitewater rafting, ice climbing, bungee jumping and all sorts. And back then the bungee jumping was they wrapped a bath towel around your ankles and then wrapped the bungee rope around that and clipped it on. No harnesses, no safety, no nothing, just a bath towel as tight as they could get it around your ankles and the bungee around that. You think about that, and do you know what, I was sort of terrified but really raring to go. When I think of it now, would I do that if they said to me, oh, you're going to bungee jump off the bridge at Skipper's Canyon with just a bath towel round your ankles and the bungee rope wrapped around that and then clipped on? No way. I mean, I've got a VHS video of it somewhere, and yeah, it's quite remarkable that I got away with it. I did ride a motorbike as well down through Skipper's Canyon. Skipper's Canyon is one of two roads in New Zealand that back in 1993 you couldn't take a hire car down because if you couldn't get insurance, because too many people had dropped their cars over the edge. And I rode a dirt bike down Skipper's Canyon, and my heart was in my mouth a couple of times where I overcooked it. And of course it's just a sand road with 100-foot cliff one side and 100-foot cliff above you, as you wound your way down. Amazing experience. I don't want to be doing it again, especially at my age and my weight. There you go. So anyway, that was off on a tangent. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to hand it round to Nathan. Nathan, sounding good. Everyone's 5 and 9 plus, by the way, and I can see everyone on Derby, so absolutely no problem. I say, apart from I think Laurie was very slightly higher on frequency, and to be honest, I can't remember where we was meant to be on frequency now. I'll tune everyone in as I hear them. But anyway, round to you, Nathan. M7NAJ, M0JCF in the CRAY Valley Top Band net.
Yeah, M0JCF, M7NAJ returning. Yeah, no worries, Mark. I think Laurie came back on his 2000B, and he was slightly higher up, so I think we all tuned up to him. Obviously, there are a few of us working on old VFOs that, you know, we have to tweak them a bit. None of this modern luxury as you've got there. Well, I'm quite enjoying this old stuff. But yeah, I tuned back down to you now, so there we are. I opened the lid of the 2000, poked the bulb with my pen, and it came back on, so there we are. Easy to fix, eh? Yeah, I was listening to Derby, I could just about hear Martin on it. It was a bit of a lash up because I just had it on my phone, so I sort of had the phone up to my ear, and I had to turn the AF on the radio down, but there we are. Yeah, I've set the 817 up so we can try AM. I don't know that anyone will hear me because it's only about 5 watts. But yeah, everything seems to be working. It's nice and warm in here as well, which is always nice. And talking of ZL Mark, Faye's sat next to me, and she's got an auntie that lives out there. She was up in the North Island, but she's now down near Christchurch in the South Island. And there are plans to go out and visit her soon, but I need to get a full licence before we go. So that's the story there. And I will hand it round to Laurie. G3WMR from M7NAJ with the CRAY Valley top band net.
From G3WMR. Looks like it's working, yeah. Returning to the net, and I'm on 190700. I netted onto Mark when he corrected the frequency back to here, so that suits me fine. And Nathan is on here as well, so hopefully. Yeah, joking apart, I don't think I'd touch a KW with a barge pole as far as frequency holding is concerned. But that's another story. Yeah, interested to hear about people's actually visited New Zealand, like Mark and Nathan, hoping to go there. Well, don't fail to go there. It's a fantastic country. I went there twice. I went 2 years running, only because we stayed on these campsites in very luxurious chalets nearly always, some of which had their own hot tub running off geothermal heating quite frequently. Absolutely amazing country. We stayed on these campsites, and we had a campsite loyalty card, and the loyalty card said it was valid for 2 years. So we thought, well, we better go back the next year and get the most out of this loyalty card. Never mind the airfare and things, little matters like that. We went 2 years running and thoroughly enjoyed it. Second time we only did the North Island, which we didn't give total justice, because we didn't go particularly north in the North Island first time round. We started working our way south from Auckland, and then visited Mina's brother, who was living down in Wellington, and then went across on the ferry, of course, and took the hire car wherever we went. In fact, we changed the hire car in Wellington, because there was something, I forget what was wrong with it. Something was, one of the tyres was a bit iffy, a bit borderline tread, and the company, the hire car company, was all over New Zealand. No problem just changing the car if you fancy changing it. They're all old bangers. They're all Japanese imports, to my great delight, because I love Japanese imports. Go around the world to other proper right-hand drive countries, and you see nothing but lovely Japanese imports that you very seldom get here, owing to our allegiance to the European Union, HI. You get really nice Japanese cars in other right-hand drive countries. Anyway, we did that. I didn't go bungee jumping, Mark, and I certainly wouldn't have done just attached by a towel around the ankles, blow that for a lark. The scariest thing I did was flew upside down in a tiger moth, which I only did out of homage to my dad, who, after he'd been a Spitfire pilot in the Battle of Britain, went over to training other people to fly, having done his bit and luckily survived. He became a an instructor and flew thousands and thousands of hours on tiger moths in this country and also in Canada, training new pilots. So I just had to fly in a Spitfire, not a Spitfire, a tiger moth, which was down in the South Island, a place called Mandeville in the South Island, and the pilot pulled the tiger moth out of the hangar by putting the tail wheel over his shoulder and walking forward, dragging the tiger moth backwards out to the grass apron. That was quite something. Flew upside down in the tiger moth, and that really freaked me out. I can't remember which was worse. I think the loop was probably worse than the roll. Bear in mind, a bit like the bungee jumping, a tiger moth's got no lid on it. So when you're upside down and you've got any loose change in your pockets, you can wave goodbye to that. But also, you've got to trust the harness when you're upside down. So that's a bit hair-raising, to put it mildly. But the upside of it was that you didn't have to book in advance. We just rolled up at the airfield where it said Joyrides or something like that, and the cost for each flight was 35 quid our money, 35 quid our money without having to book in advance. So Mina went first and I went second. So I had already witnessed her flying upside down and whatever the other one is, looping and rolling, and I thought, blow that. But I couldn't be a coward and say I didn't want to do it. So that's something I've achieved. What else was I going to say about the South Island? Oh, I know. There's a fantastic repeater system. Nathan, if you do go, they've got a fantastic repeater system with a 70 centimetre repeater in our sort of inputs. You can get into a spine that goes right down the whole country and opens up all the repeaters simultaneously. And there's hardly anyone on there, so it's not a problem. I think you could probably select nowadays, you could probably select which ones you want to open. But when I went there, the whole lot just opened up when you transmitted, and everyone could hear you right up and down both islands, which was incredible. That was 2008 there. So quite a long time back. So went there 2 years running. I don't think I didn't see that place you were talking about, Mark, with that hairy road. But again, I was in a hired vehicle. We thought better of hiring a camper van, and I'm glad we didn't hire a camper van, because we had the luxury of cabins without the thirstiness of a camper van, plus the fact that diesel fuel is taxed differently there. So if you've got a diesel camper van, you run into problems with getting your tax back as a visitor. We were far better off just driving I think it was a Toyota Corolla or something like that, which did the job perfectly adequately. So I won't be around for the next phase of the thing, because I always do my phone call returning, etc. But I will have the radio on in the corner of my ear, listening to AM, just out of curiosity. So round again to Laurie from G3 WMR on 1907, hint, hint.
Yeah, well, Golf 4, Alpha, yeah, okay. I've no idea for sure what frequency of hang on. No, I'm probably a KP up or down post. I'll eventually put a counter on it. In fact, the future plans on folks, the receive audio on the 2003 is exceptionally good. Not just due, I think, to the giant amount of speaker built into the power supply, and a whole lot better than the 706. But that 706 has got the audio is messed about with digitally, so that might be something to do with it. This is best. What else? Oh yeah, your feeder problem, guy. The classic one, of course, is the famous Elton Scrolls. They're trained to these coax feeders and wires in general. Of course, they're probably trained by the Germans and the old cat. Yeah, you're waffling on, Mark. Pass it on. Right. On AM guy, I'm going to buy the 85, but I'm not too sure. I have the FRG7, but the class result comes in sufficient good to proceed. Right, so it's I can see FDR on Derby without any problems and everyone else. But now, looking at it, gosh, I think I can see myself. Yes, I think I can. Gosh, propagation conditions must have changed. Initially, the MP was extremely noisy on top band, but since then it's steadily got better. Must be something to do with the delay, I suppose. Right, pass it on. So, back to you, Guy. CVRS, Golf 4, Foxtrot Alpha Alpha, and the on the CRAY Valley top band net. Over to you, Guy.
Okay, G4FAA, G0UKN in the CRAY Valley top band net, but all copied. Well, I've never been to New Zealand. People tell me it's nice, and maybe I ought to make the effort, but it's just so far away, as is the same with Australia. I just haven't done it. Maybe something for retirement, who knows, but certainly not been there. With regard to doing daft things on motorbikes, Mark, my daft thing on a motorbike abroad was I was in a place called Jaipur in India, which is sort of just the other side of Agra from Delhi, really, I suppose, in geographic terms, going further north. There's a main, what they call the Pink Palace in Jaipur itself, but all around the edges of it, there's up on hills, there's these old ruined forts, and I wanted to have a look at them, and there was no real way of getting there, so I hired a Hero Honda 125, so not even an off-road bike, and then the guy looked at me as if I was mad when I wanted a helmet. He finally found me a helmet, and I think for the entire afternoon it cost me about £4 to hire this bike, and I hammered it up what were basically dirt tracks, and took my life in my hands. My boss, who was this German lady at the time, was absolutely doing her pieces because she thought I was going to die, and she'd have to explain to Jan what had happened. So yeah, it was shits and giggles. It really was a brilliant experience. So you know, how I didn't die, I don't know. But anyway, I am going to just dekey for a second, and I'm going to put it to where I think the carrier's supposed to be, and I will be coming back on AM. 1 second, folks.